Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by. So today I will be showing you my take on page 90 of the Kiwi Lane Idea Book Volume 3. I'll be using these pictures, and I end up using 9 pictures because some of my pictures are 3x4, although on the sketch there's only 6 pictures, but you really can't, it looks exactly the same. So these are my paper selections, and I do use things from my stash, and I'm going to explain how I pick these papers. So for me, the blue paper will be replacing the orange paper. The polka dot paper will be replacing the polka dot paper on the layout, and the heart paper will be replacing the white and blue paper on the layout. And then I have a yellow paper that will be replacing the horizontal stripe. So I'm laying out my page the way they have it in the layout on the page, using Happy Trails 3A and 3B, strips 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 2 inch, Celebrate 2, Tiny Brackets 1T, Tiny Celebrate 1T and 2T, Tiny Notions 2T, 3T, 5T, and Photos. And I'm basically laying everything out. Now I am missing one of the balloons. I can't find it, so I don't know if I possibly threw it out by mistake, which is very possible. Wouldn't be the first time. But so here is where I am just trying to figure out which papers I'm using. I'm just actually refreshing my memory of what I'm using where. So you will see as I cut things down, how everything turns out. And it really isn't that complicated. You just have to kind of look at it as what papers they used, and you just have to kind of replace them with kind of like the same type of pattern, or if it's a dark paper, try to go with a dark paper. If it's a busy paper, go with a busy paper. So if you have any suggestions of layouts that you would like me to do, I only have the third volume, so just leave me a comment with what page number. And if you haven't already, if you're a subscriber, I really appreciate you, and thank you for subscribing to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, please click on the subscribe button. It really does help with my channel and my channel growth. And if you'd like to get notifications, please click on the little bell button, and you will get notifications whenever new content comes out. So I am planning for this to be a weekly series. So I'll do one layout a week. They will come out on Fridays. And if I see that there's enough response, I might even bring it up to 2 layouts a week. And I would consider getting the other idea books, if you guys, seem interested enough. But the only way I know that is by seeing the comments. So please, again, leave me a comment. Let me know that, that if you're liking this, if you think this is a good series. I'm just trying to find ways to have better content for you guys. So for this layout, I decided to change it up a little bit, and I am using a Distress ink in Chipped Sapphire. I wanted to kind of throw in that navy blue because if you look at the pictures, there's a lot of blue in there. It's a very Sesame Street party, and so the primary colors are definitely prominent in my pictures. So that's why I figured I would use like the yellow and the blue, and definitely why I picked my Chipped Sapphire to ink my edges. So this layout comes together pretty quickly. I think I spent more time with cutting things out than actually having to plan it out. It actually was fairly easy to put together. And as you can see, I am now just starting to adhere everything. These are my pictures, and this is Leonie's first birthday, which she's now 5, so it was a few years ago. So some of the pictures I got, they were either from Instagram or Snapchat, and they had like different kinds of things on it, like words, or they had balloons. So I was trying to hide some of it because not all the pictures had it, and I wanted to have that continuity of everything looking kind of the same. And some of them were cut off. So if you look at the bottom left picture, I think it's Happy that's cut off. So I really didn't want to, show that. Actually, no, you could see Happy, but Birthday's cut off. So, yeah, so this is my take. I had never owned an idea book, and I had just purchased it, and somebody in one of the groups, and unfortunately, I don't remember who it was, had said that they really struggled with, they have the idea books, but they've never made a layout from the idea book. And I thought to myself, wow, that's actually a really interesting series to do. So, and that's how this series was born. So I'm going to cut out my balloons, and as you can see, I'm going to cut a blue one out. And right now, I believe I'm working on my left page. I think. Oh, no, I think I might be working still on my right page. I'm not 100% sure. So I actually flipped the balloon, the paper to the back, and I traced my my template on the back of the paper. I do that sometimes just so that I don't have to erase, because sometimes the pencil marks like bother me a little bit. So, but yeah. Basically, these papers are the blue and the polka dot one are from Chamel's field trip collection, and the heart one, the heart one is from, let me see if I have it here. Well, the yellow one is definitely a doodlebug paper. And I do not see, oh, here's the heart one. Let's see. And the heart one is actually an Amy Tangerine slice of life. That's what the blue and yellow little heart paper is. So now I'm putting together the left side of the page. And it takes me a minute to kind of remember what's going where. And I'm going to trace the happy trails, cut it out, ink it, and that is going to go on the right side of the page. For me, some of these layouts are a little difficult because I don't have a lot of pictures, so I may have to just do one page, for one event, and then do the second page for something else. So that might also be a way of me showing you that you can still do both pages and have titles on both pages, and for them not to be completely connected. So that, I'm pretty sure that's going to be one of my layouts, because unless it's like a birthday, I really don't have a lot of pictures all from one event. And for the most part, if I do, they're usually 3x4 size, especially when she was younger, because she had I think she had a Android phone, and the camera wasn't the best, so a lot of the quality in the pictures don't look good if I make them too big. So I do end up freehand cutting this paper, the blue paper, too, and I'll give you the sizes just so you know what I did. so it's 6 inches wide by a little under 10 inches. And then the heart paper I'm cutting down to 4 3/4 by about 8 1/2. And that is how it's going to look. And although on the picture in the book, the pictures are not framed, I do end up framing my pictures with just 1/8 of an inch frame around 3 of the sides, because the right side of the pictures are going to be under my template there. So I didn't see why I needed to give it a full frame. And you'll see me cut that all out now. And I really love how this page came out. At the end of the day, I was very happy with it. It didn't take me long to make once I figured out what paper I was using. And it's a cute page. And in all seriousness, I think the hardest part, because they're telling you what templates to use, the hardest part is actually picking your papers. And if you just use my theory of how to pick papers, it just makes it simpler. You know, you just look at the page and kind of, instead of looking at it as a whole thing, look at each individual paper or pattern and then just replace them individually, trying to keep it in the same color family. I hope that makes sense. So if you look at my page, they all coordinate. Right now I'm using my Zutter corner punch, and this basically just makes it a rounded edge, just like it had in the book. I'm going to ink all the edges, and I will adhere everything down in a moment. And I'm just trying to figure out like my placement, because that, you know, obviously they don't tell you that, so you kind of have to eyeball it and figure out where you want to put it. So here's where I noticed that I needed to scoot up a little bit, because my that little arrow did not fit very well. So I'm just scooting my papers down so that they do fit. And actually, when I was trying to figure out what paper I wanted to use for the arrow, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to use. And then I flipped over the yellow floral paper, the doodlebug paper, and I noticed that they had a perfect grid pattern that worked perfectly for what I needed. So again, if you have a suggestion of a layout that you might want me to do that you see in this volume 3 book, let me know, and I will, you know, put it onto my list of which ones I'm going to do, and I will definitely make sure that I make a video and a layout with your suggestion. If you have other suggestions, please, again, leave me a comment. I would love to, you know, try to accommodate all my viewers and, you know, let you see what you obviously want to see. So the cutting part is fairly easy if you just move your paper. I know that sounds kind of like weird, but as you can see, I'm not really turning the scissor. I'm actually turning my paper. So on this page, it was supposed to have 3 different balloons, but again, I must have dropped one, or tossed it, or it might be misplaced somewhere. And yeah, so I just cut 2 of the same balloons, and I am going to pop them up. 2 of them I'll pop up so that they're above, you know, kind of floating in front of the blue one. And I also do use some baker's twine to kind of tie them together so they look like they're part, you know, like a part of the party. So that is roughly where my balloons will be living. This is where I decide to use this yellow paper for my little embellishment that's going to be on the left bottom page under the balloons. I've also found these really old, I think they're Jolie's, and they were for like a first birthday, and they don't match perfectly, but I end up using them anyway because I have no other reason to use them. So they were going on this page somewhere, you know, some of them anyway. But again, it does come out. I really like how it came out, and I'm hoping that my niece and nephew like how it came out as well. I mean, there were a lot more pictures, but I couldn't get them all on one page, and some of them just didn't print well, so you know, I had to do a little process of elimination. So as I cut this out, I'm going to talk to you about the next part of my layout. So I wanted to stamp Leani, use this little happy birthday tag, and then I wanted to stamp beautiful girl. So it's going to say Leani, happy birthday, beautiful girl. And so I'm using my Misty because I am not a good stamper. I usually have to stamp more than once. And the letters that I was using, you know, obviously are, the letters are all separate. So I wanted to make sure that I just had to stamp it once. And if I do have to stamp it twice, then they're on the Misty and it's not an issue. So I actually stuck down that little tag paper thingy because I didn't want it to move. And also I wanted to use my Misty because I needed to use I twice, and there's only one I. And I apologize for that. My son was at the store and he was asking me which dishwasher detergent I wanted. The beauties of having FaceTime, right? All right, so going back to my stamping. So here I'm just, again, placing it out, and I noticed when I was going to do it, the letters weren't lined up correctly. I had to move things around a little bit. So here is where I am making sure that they're straight. And I apologize for my top of my head, but there's not much that I can do about that. So here's where I decide to use a scrap paper, only because I want to make sure that what color stamp. And at first I used, I had used I'm not even sure, it was a red color, but the red was really off. And it just didn't look good. So I tried it with a Stays On Navy one that I have, which I do not see here. So I don't know what color it is. I do apologize for that. So I stamped out the word, you know, her name, Leani. Now I'm peeling off the letters and I'm going to do my comma. So I'm working on my comma, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out Beautiful Girl, and that's coming from the L Studios, let's see, the L Studio Title Builder Stamp Sets. Let's see which one. The girl comes from volume 2. Where does beautiful come from? Let's see. Good question. Oh, beautiful comes from volume 3. So that's what my titles. This is my title, and I really like how it came out. I actually end up using that navy blue color, and it actually looks black. So it didn't really make a difference. So I'm going to ink those edges on that little banner, and I'm going to pop it up. And I didn't do that before because I wanted to make sure that I could stamp around it. So I just had, put a little adhesive down to keep it in place so that I can get the stamping in the right position. So now I am trying to figure out what I'm going to use for the string, right? Because my balloons can't just be floating there, or they need to be tied down to something. So I think this is where I'm looking for my baker's twine, and I'm just gonna like lightly tie a knot, and I end up turning it around. I was gonna do bows, but then it was like too much. And that's when I was like, no, I just kind of feel like they just need to be like, tied in the back and call it a day. So I do struggle a little. I don't know why I left it stuck on the page. So, my suggestion to you is take it off the page and stick it, glue it down, do whatever you got to do, and then put it down on your page, because I did struggle a bit with that. I did leave the twine a little longer because I wanted to kind of gather it all to the left of Leon, her name, so that I could tie them together in a little bow, kind of like if they were being held down by the little title block. And all I did was, I didn't even tie them. I just kind of stuck everything down so it looked like it was crisscrossing each other. And here is where I'm just kind of like swirling it around. And I do add little daubs of glue just to kind of hold it in place where I wanted the strings to be. And here's where I'm just going to tie my little bow. Yeah, I do struggle a little bit with the bow because I'm a little anal retentive and the bow had to be perfect. So now I'm just going to cut everything down a little bit so it's not too long. And so yeah, so that is what my left side of the page looks like. All we got to do now is adhere some of these. And I was going to use this happy first birthday up here on the top of the page. But then I remembered, oh wait, I have that arrow I got to use. I got to put in there. And so I end up taking it off, and I end up cutting it apart, and it will live on the second page. So here I'm thinking, oh, I'm done with this page. This is good, right? And then that's when I'm like, oh wait, I forgot the arrow. So pulling this back up, and now I'm thinking, and I'm sorry you can't see this, but I was thinking I was going to put it at the bottom of the page. So I put it at the bottom of the page, but it doesn't stay there. So I'm just going to cut out my arrow, and you can barely see that. So my trick to these templates that have like little twists and turns is that I just take, a blue pen. Well, since I was using the blue ink to ink my edges, I use the blue pen to create that little crease that you see in the tag. And I just kind of line it up and go with, just draw it on. And you can definitely make it more three-dimensional and, you know, cut a second piece and pop it up. I've done that before too, but this was just perfect. So we go back to page 2, and I am going to put these balloons down at the bottom, and now I'm going to work on tying these. And see, this is what I mean. It was much easier to just do it when they were not adhered to the page than it was to do it when they were stuck down. And that's all I do. I just tie, I just kind of like stick them together there, and that's it. And the glue actually holds everything down. I recorded this video last week. Everything is still in the same spot as you see in the video. I do apologize for my messy desk, but I'm kind of like a messy scrapbooker, so my desk is always like a mess. And if that's distracting to you, please let me know, because I will definitely try to be a little more, you know, neater, and definitely more conscious of putting my scraps in the garbage as opposed to, or in a little bowl or something, instead of just throwing them on my desk. So this is where I was like, oh, I'll use the happy birthday up against that, the balloons. But then I remembered that there is that notions that we needed to use. So I cut another one of these on the yellow paper. And I'm actually going to put the happy birthday, happy first birthday on that little tag. And same thing with these type of templates. I just go ahead and use the same color pen or pencil that I'm using to ink the edges, and create the lines by just lining things up and just kind of following and doing whatever lines that you see on the template. So I thought I was going to do happy birthday all one piece, but then it didn't fit. So then that's when I was like, yeah, we're going to cut this, because it doesn't matter. I could do whatever I want, right? And I thought I could actually take it apart with my fingers, but that wasn't happening. So I actually had to use a scissor, because there is a little string behind it holding it all together. And this layout is almost completely done. I'm going to stick down my happy birthday. I do not pop it up, because the white and blue, the white polka dot balloon is popped up. So I just kind of pop up the left side of it so that it's even. As you can see here, I'm just going to do that little corner there so it's all nice and even. And then I'm going to add a couple more of those Jolies. I'm going to use the birthday cake and the gift box. And add some doodlebug little enamel thingies. I don't remember what they're called. And oh, here they go. I end up using yellow and blue shape sprinkles by Doodlebug. And my page is done. Basically, there's really nothing much left. So other than, oh no, I do have that other little tag that I'm going to cut out, and eventually I will put the date on it. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching. There's really not much left other than the little embellishments that I'm going to add, the little sprinkles. And if you stay to the end, there will be a close-ups of the layouts, as well as links to other videos that might interest you. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.